God, thank you so much for bringing this incredible community together. I pray that each and every middle schooler has felt your presence this weekend, and that they open up their hearts even more tonight to your love and your grace. Please let my words glorify you and stir our hearts to pursue you even further. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Hi, I'm Liza Ashe. I'm a senior at Homewood High School. I'm involved in show choir. I love animals and dark chocolate. And I don't know yet where I'm going to college next year, so please don't ask. I'm a part of the youth group here at Element. I come on Sunday nights. I'm in a Bible study group that meets here once a week. I've been on all the summer mission trips and have come to all the middle and high school discoveries since 6th grade. And I wanted to start out tonight by saying thank you. Thank you, church, for loving and welcoming me all these years and loving everyone in this room, whether they were baptized right here in the sanctuary or if this is their first time stepping foot inside these walls. But most of all, tonight, I want to thank you for the times you loved me when you didn't even realize it. See, I grew up in a Unitarian church, which was very different from Trinity. It probably would have considered itself more of a spiritual community than a faith-based church. People from all different religious backgrounds attended, and I spent my Sunday mornings as a kid sitting next to atheists, Buddhists, Christians, you name it. Because of this, I definitely did not receive the biblical education that so many of my peers who grew up in the church did. I never really learned all the Sunday school trivia facts or vacation Bible school songs. It wasn't until 6th grade, though, when people really started getting involved in this ministry, that it became apparent to me how little I actually knew about Jesus. I felt spiritually behind everyone else. I didn't really feel good enough to call this place my home. Fast forward to halfway through my freshman year of high school. My uncle dies. At the age of only 55, he unexpectedly passed away in his apartment. He wasn't sick, and the cause of death was assumed to be a heart attack. He was an only child, and his parents died before him. He didn't have a church home. He essentially had no family other than his in-laws, me, my mom, and my siblings. He struggled a lot with mental health. I was really close with him. He called me Liza Bug. He was the biggest Michigan State basketball fan to ever walk the face of the planet. And every year at Christmas, instead of buying us gifts, he would donate money under our names to overseas villages in need. His death came as a complete shock. It was a weird feeling. Someone I had seen and talked to only a few weeks prior was just gone. I was confused and felt a little lost. I'm a pretty chatty person, but this was something I surprisingly kept to myself. I didn't even tell my closest friends because I didn't know how. I put on a brave face and acted perfectly normal at school. I thought I was handling it alone. But church, what I didn't realize is that we never handle anything alone. I'm going to repeat that. We never handle anything alone. God showed up in ways I didn't recognize until years later. A couple weeks went by, and I was at the church on Wednesday night for Fusion, a small Bible study group here at Trinity with a few other girls from my grade. This was only my 3rd or 4th time going, and I still felt a little bit like a fraud as someone who knew basically the bare minimum about the Bible. But when it was time to share our wows and pows, as we call them, or the good and bad parts of our week, for some reason I decided to share about the death of my uncle. The girls in that room did for me what I can never repay any of them for. They listened to me, and they loved me. To this day, Fusion is my favorite part of the week and where I feel the closest to God. Thank you, church, for giving me a family. But church, what I really want to thank you for is giving my Uncle Tim a family. Despite the fact that he had never come here before, Trinity gave my uncle a funeral. David Thompson had never met him, talked to him, or even seen him, but he officiated the service and gave a beautiful eulogy. Only around 10 or 12 people showed up, and it was a really short service, maybe like 20 minutes, but it was perfect. It didn't matter to Trinity that my uncle wasn't a member or an avid churchgoer. What mattered was that he was a child of God, and he deserved to be remembered as one. Then Trinity went a step further. It allowed us to have a space for my uncle's ashes in the very sacred prayer garden just on the other side of this wall, the same prayer garden that many of you parents holding candles were looking over tonight. It has been especially meaningful to my family to have him so close to us. We're able to visit him anytime we want to or need to. It's such a comfort knowing that he's finally at peace, resting in this welcoming, loving place. Without even knowing him, Trinity gave this lonely man a permanent home, a forever home, when he probably never really felt like he had one here on earth. The church didn't judge my uncle, my family, or my faith, and it is not here to judge you. God teaches us to love unconditionally, and that is exactly what I've seen this place do for myself and for so many others. Whether it be the death of a family member or something else entirely, we go through unexpected things. But the good news is that God does not let us handle these things alone, and neither does the faith community here at Trinity. My uncle and I were both accepted in a way that can only be attributed to God's unconditional and overwhelming love for us. Some of us in this room tonight may feel like we're spiritually lacking. We may be comparing ourselves to other better Christians, or maybe we're just trying to handle a hard situation alone. But Christ is here in every corner of this place to take us in. I'll end this talk by sharing with y'all the last line of one of my favorite worship songs, which is, God, you're the one who never leaves the one behind. Thank you, church, for not leaving me or anyone else in this room behind. Will you all bow your heads? God, I pray for anyone here tonight who feels like maybe they don't belong in this place or in relationship with you. I pray that they know just how worthy they are of your love, and that we can all learn to be a little more like you and become people who don't leave others behind but take them in. Thank you, God, for this day and for this church. In your Son's name, amen.